What's up, guys? You are on the air and off the books with Beth Ann and Samantha. And today we have 5 special guests here to talk with us about the famous natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. We've only talked about this in every single podcast we have done. We've recorded like 60. It's fine. You'll hear it in every single one. So yes, we're really excited to have everybody here today to talk about it, and we can discuss what we think about it. Our Beth Ann and I might argue. Punches might be thrown.
Maybe.
It's fine. So yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll start with Caitlin.
Hi guys, I'm Caitlin. I work at the South Branch. I'm the circulation manager.
Hi, I'm Lori. I work at the South Branch and the Richville Branch. I manage both branches.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm the Reader's Advisory Librarian, and I work out at South Branch.
Hi, I'll go next. I'm Doug. I'm the Assistant Director at the library.
And I'm Maddie. I am a South Branch clerk.
Awesome.
I'm Beth Ann. You don't know.
Yes, and I am Samantha. All right. Okay. So first off, what do we think about the series?
We obviously love it.
Yeah. Is everybody as hardcore as us? Probably not.
Probably not. we have head shakes already.
I want more.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So do I. But like in what way?
I've read about every single book written by her for an exception about 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yes. I think we're reading.
We're going to be reading the Inheritance Games coming out.
We're starting the Inheritance Games.
Can't wait to hear what you think about that one.
Have you read that? Really? Ugh, I'm worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried that it's not going to be like what
we have high expectations here.
I read the Inheritance Games.
Did you?
I enjoyed it.
Okay. All right.
Melissa hasn't read all of the Naturals, right? And neither has Lori.
I'm on number 4 right now.
Yay! Okay.
I got the third one, the second, the third one read. Is it number 4, right? Number 4. I'm reading it right now.
I'll admit to
not obsessed.
I don't know that I would have read them had it not been for you guys in this podcast. I probably would have stopped.
We're very convincing.
Yes. Well, or we're just persistent and annoying.
Yeah. How many people have we convinced? We convinced Doug. We convinced Brittany.
Yes, we convinced. Did we convince Stephanie? Should she read them?
I don't know if Stephanie has read them.
It's got to be like 5 or 6 people.
We're hardcore into it. Like, well, I'll probably reread them.
The only reason why I read them is because you pestered me to death.
I did.
Was like, I'm just going to read them so she stops.
I had to pester Beth Ann for about 2 months to read the books, and
then it took me like
3 days.
Can I ask, Samantha, what did you like about them so much that made you want to? What was your like? Oh, this is it. You've got to read it because of.
So I had looked at them a whole bunch of times, and I always thought, okay, this is going to be about like somebody that goes to a birthday party and gets murdered because of like the cover of the book. It's like a present and like crime tape. I was like, no, I'm never reading that. That looks really stupid. And so I was on this like YA serial killer kick, which is like very narrow. And I had read this one series. It's called like Shadowlands or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I talked to Melissa about it. I was Yes, Kate Bryan. Loved that. 10 out of 10. If you ever want to read that next. And so
Shadowlands. You said Shadowlands?
Yeah, Shadowlands by Kate Bryan. Bryan, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct.
It's a crazy book, very, very twisty. But yeah, I read that and then I was like, okay, well, I'm obsessed. So I have to go and Google similar books. And so I brought the Natural series and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And so I read it and I was like, I'm obsessed and I cannot stop until I finish.
I think the thing which I think the reason I think you love it so much is because you're really good at guessing the end.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those like
She can
sleuthers.
just read the first page and be like, oh yeah, this person did it, and just ruin the whole thing for you. But you couldn't figure out.
No, this is the only book series that I couldn't like put things
Pinpoint
together and
what was what.
figure out who was going to be like the culprit at the end.
So I think the puzzle was extremely intriguing for you.
Yes.
So does the last book bring it all to the end? I mean, is it obvious? I mean,
You're talking about like the last book of the series, not
yeah,
the
is number 4
right?
like literally like finish it all off?
Yes, but
Okay.
it leaves it to where there could be like so much more
Okay.
added.
Yeah.
Okay, have you guys read the novella 12?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
my comment on this is, as I understand it, 12 takes place when they're 23.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're loving this series when they're teenagers. I wanted them to be
Old
Adults.
you're reading it.
Yeah.
like trainees to begin with. That's where
Yeah.
I wanted it to start. That was my major fault with the series, because the plausibility issues of dragging teens to,
Right.
and I know she handled it very well, but I really wanted it to be, an adult.
Yeah.
A lot more
Like
adult.
new adult or something.
Yeah, new adult, definitely. That would have been its perfect spot, I think, in my mind.
I definitely want them to like continue with the series, make like
Yeah.
a series of them like actually in the FBI.
But I don't think she's written any, has she written any adult books?
I don't think so.
I think she really caters to the YA market, and I think it's partly because her books have that appeal. But I really would like to see.
We're just gonna have to send her an email and say this is what you have to do.
Who on here does not read crime? Who doesn't normally gravitate towards serial killers and crime? Okay. Maddie, you do?
I like.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I read. If you're not getting mugged and brutalized and killed, I don't want to read it. I don't. So that's
You would like all the books that we read then.
yeah. If you're not getting
Well,
maimed, I don't want to hear about it.
You need to read Nine Elms.
yes, I
then.
was just getting ready to say that. Have you read 9 Elms by Robert? Is it Brenza?
Brenza.
Night.
Nine
Elms.
Elms.
Nine.
That's the number 9. We also
Okay.
have it too.
Book 3 is coming out in October.
All right.
I want to disagree with Melissa. Well, not disagree. I mean, it's your opinion, but I have the contrary opinion on the whole young adult thing. And yeah, it was far fetched. But for me, what grabbed me about the Naturals was right from the very beginning when they recruit her and how they recruited her. And for some reason, it reminded me a lot of the old X-Men comic books, which, so there's your. I'm used to the suspension of disbelief anyway, since I grew up reading comic books. And the comic books I grew up reading were about teenagers that were recruited with superpowers and sent to fight for the world. And so to me, this whole thing reminded me of that. And I loved it. I loved that they were teenagers, that they wanted to do more, and they were being pulled back ineffectively. And I thought it was fantastic. It reminded me a lot of that. So
And I'm
I
so
didn't find the implausibility of it.
yeah, I'm such an unrealistic reader. I'm like, no, this book can't be realistic. Like if it's realistic, I don't want to read it. Like I want it to be so crazy.
That too.
It would never happen. But yeah, now that I've read it, I'm like, okay, I want this to be my life. How could I
How can I be a
obtain these
profiler?
special abilities?
It's too exciting for me.
Google's how to become a profiler on Google. Too much school. Not gonna
I
happen.
love this.
I didn't mind the teenage and the age of the kids. I think what got to me, it's like, really, every case is about you. I mean, what are the odds? That was my big. I'm like,
They're
really?
teenagers. When you're a teenager, everything's
No, but
about
they
you.
literally were about them. I'm like, what are the odds that it's her aunt? What are the odds it's your brother? I'm like, oh my God,
But
come on. There's
like-
got to be another case in this, the FBI picks up that's not about them. So I wanted the
Yeah.
other cases too.
But
And
I think they did that because I think when they brought Cassie's main character, they brought her in. I think that it was just targeted towards her, and all of this was unraveling because she got brought in. I don't know. That's my way of thinking. And I don't know. I liked that each book was like a backstory of the main character.
Yeah, I did like that you learned about them and you learned, why they were there or how they got there.
I
But
see what you mean though, because it was kind of like you could kind of a little bit like foretell that was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we're obviously gonna like by the second book, if you don't know that it's gonna happen, I guess then you're kind of missing the whole point of it. But
yes.
it'd been cool if they had like a couple side things in to break it up a little bit. I agree with that, but at the same time, I really liked it. And I still want more stories.
Okay, does this book does it end, the fourth one end with more about Leah?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't think so.
Beth Ann's shaking her head.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, in the sense of like, it was Cassie's aunt, it was Sloane's brother. We know about Dean's dad. Does Leah have a psycho family member that's a serial killer like the rest of them?
I don't want to spoil it.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
really.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, that's what I kept waiting, because we've had Michael has his dad, you meet those people in their lives.
It's like a backstory about her life. Not so
I know
much.
she gives bits and pieces about, what did she say? In the two truths and a
Yeah.
dare, I killed a man and I was part of a
Yeah.
cult.
I
those
wish
kind
that
of
they
things.
in that book, I wish that they dug more into like her
She's the
involvement.
nut that I only really wanted to crack, and she never did.
Yeah.
Like, she's the one that I really want to know more about, and I didn't learn enough from her.
But she's
Yeah, I admired the fact that she could lie. I can't tell a lie. You would know the second a lie left my mouth. My mom would always say, "You're lying." I'm like, "Yeah, you are. You're right." So I'd always go,
But I think that's part of her character. She's the enigma. She's the one that you can't tell who is lying. You can't tell if they're telling the truth. She's the question mark because even the profilers can't figure out what's motivating her or what she's really doing.
Yeah.
I need them to make a movie, like a TV series, so bad. I just want to like cry on the.
I can see this being a movie or like a Netflix series.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But
Has
I
anybody seen the movie,
ruin
the
it if-
series? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Caitlin.
What?
I said I feel like they ruin it if they turn it into a TV.
It will.
It has to be
just have-
casted perfectly.
Well,
And
they kind of did. It was called Criminal Minds. Sorry,
Well-
the whole thing made me think Criminal Minds with kids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
watched Criminal Minds, but it did remind me a little bit of Deadly Class. But again, I'm going back to comic book roots because Deadly Class was a TV series, but it's based on a comic book.
Lori's like, bye, I'm out of here.
No, my dog is sat still on the couch all morning long. I finally get on a Zoom meeting and now she's wanting to get outside or do something. So I just let her out on the back patio. Sorry.
But speaking of Netflix series, we have to talk about how we would cast this series because Beth Ann and I disagree so hard on this, and we fought on Facebook the other day. Whose post was it?
Oh,
It was
Carrie's reading it.
Carrie's reading it now. We
It's just
fought so
because you
hard.
think that Dean is Ian Smolder. What is his
Okay,
name?
how do we
Some
all
older or
picture
something.
Dean? Let's
A
talk
young
about-
Matt Damon from The Outsiders.
Okay, I picture him as like if you've ever watched The Vampire Diaries, Ian
Look at him.
Somerhalder, dark
No,
hair,
nobody
kind
thinks
of
he looks
like
that.
But doesn't she say he's blonde? Isn't he blonde?
He's got sandy blonde hair.
no.
And
but
see, I
that's
always
not
see him
how-
as dark haired too. And when she says he has blonde hair, I'm like, no, he's dark. He's supposed
He
to be
looks
dark
like
and
Yeah.
Justin Bieber at 12 years
Because
old.
the
Oh
bad
God,
boys-
no.
No,
Yes,
no.
he-
No.
The bad boys always have the dark hair and
Yeah.
like just a little bit of the facial hair.
But Michael's the bad boy, not Dean.
No.
Thank
See,
you.
but I see Michael's the preppy boy,
Yeah.
the clean cut, the preppy.
Michael's
The,
the preppy
he is
boy.
the bad
Yeah.
boy. Michael's the bad boy. You can't.
He is.
Have
but
you
his
ever
appearances wise, he's not. He's the fraternity brother. He's
He's the frat boy.
yeah.
If you've ever
Preppy was
watched
what I
like,
got from him too.
the new 90210,
Yes.
the blonde guy. Teddy. His name's Teddy. I don't even remember what character like he played really. I just know his name is Teddy. He is like that. He's like blonde, muscular, but
Very
like
fit. Yeah.
polo shirt, khakis.
Who's this?
This is Michael.
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, no, Michael's blonde for sure. Sorry,
He's
Beth Ann.
definitely got like almost black hair, but it's fine.
See, all I can think of is older actors. I can't think of the young actors and actresses right now.
I don't
got
know.
older
Dean
people.
just looks like he's a recluse. He's never seen the light of day. With hair covering both eyes. He does this constantly. That's exactly what he reminds me of.
I feel like Dean is kind of like the nerdy boy.
No,
Kind
see,
of.
I don't get that. I feel like he's like the leather jacket, like
Black T-shirt and the leather
Yeah.
jacket and the jeans and
tight
just
jeans,
Grungy.
cool all the time.
motorcycle, vroom vroom. Yeah. Dean.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll play the role.
You're exactly who came to mind, Doug. Exactly.
When we thought of the Netflix series, we thought, Doug, what better person to play Dean?
Yeah, I
than-
think Cassie should have ended up with Michael, but it's fine.
No,
No,
I do.
get out of here.
I like him a lot better than I like
Michael was
Judd-
a creep.
Yeah,
Judd is
that's what I
Denzel
thought.
Washington.
Michael's the creep, and you love people to read about like in romances who bully you to death, and then they fall in love with you. Like you're
I
the only
do.
thing they ever see, but they have to beat you up
It's
like
like-
psychologically first.
It's like true.
And he's the
romance.
creep. Okay, that makes
You watch Doris Day
zero
movies?
sense.
Do I what?
Watch Doris Day movies?
No, but
Watch
I'm,
old Doris Day movies. That's pretty much the concept of each one of them.
I'm like that like Stockholm syndrome person that's like
I'm so
it's like you're so mean to me, but you're eventually going to like
that's abuse.
you have a soft spot for me and I'm going to love you endlessly.
It's abuse.
I'm going to change you.
It's a mental.
You'll outgrow that.
I have a real big problem with that whole redeeming the bad boy
So
thing
sorry.
that I'm not even going to go into it here because that's a whole episode in and of itself.
I'm not, ugh,
My
not a
heart.
fan. That at all.
Yeah, that's but okay. What was your guys' favorite book out of like the 4-book series?
The first
I
one.
know. The novella. The first one?
First one.
First one's always the best.
Yeah.
I personally liked Dean's story.
I did
The
too.
book.
That's pretty cool.
Was that a number 2?
I really
Right.
liked Dean's story, and then I liked the last book.
I like the last
Bad
book.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the cult aspect of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was white knuckling it the whole time, like very fast.
Yeah.
So I get all the information. I didn't like being in the dark. That's I think why I like the last
know.
book the best.
It's like one of those books that you can't just read like a couple chapters and because then you're like, okay, well, I want to know who the killer is. So we got to read this book in one night.
Yeah, but I'm a slow reader, so it's really frustrating because it takes me forever to read a book.
Or just-
So-
See, I hesitated on them because the first one was the only one in audiobook. So I listened to it and then the others were in audiobook. So I kind of set them aside thinking I don't want to read them. I'll just, because I'm more of a listener now.
That was my problem.
And then
too.
when you guys decided to do this, I thought, okay, I'll read the others.
I'm a listener too, and when they didn't do audio for books 2 through 4, I was just like, well, I'm done.
And I'm actually reading the 4th one on my iPad, which is something I've never done, I'll admit. I'm a book. If I'm going to read a book, I'm going to read a book. So I'm actually reading the 4th one on my iPad because I finished the other one last night, and this was my only option. So I'm like downloading it and
Yeah, I can't listen to audiobooks because I always like when I'm reading, I picture like the characters and the voices in my head. And if anybody reads them any other way, I'm just like, nope, that's wrong. I don't like this book anymore. Yeah, I've never been able to get through an audiobook.
It's not a problem if you haven't read the book first, because
I agree.
then you will adapt to the voices.
Yes.
Make sure it's not something or a series that's a continuation. So you'd have to start something fresh. You're
Right.
going to get away with
It all depends on the narrator.
Yes, it does.
You really make or break a book.
I keep multiple in my car just because if I don't like the way it's narrated, it's done and I'll read it rather
Yeah.
than listen.
Well, I probably won't read it. I can't
Yeah.
sit down and read a book like that anymore, but
But yeah, I wish they'd done more of them in audio. I actually thought the audio was well done.
I tried to get Caitlin to read it out loud and record herself, but she wouldn't.
I literally was thinking the same thing because my husband listens to audiobooks because he's a FedEx
Oh,
driver.
I remember us talking about
And
that.
he'll like sit and listen to like a whole book in a day. And so I told him, I was like, you gotta read these. And he's like, I can't sit down and read a book. So I was like, okay, just listen to the audiobook, but we don't have the last three. And so
They aren't out there. They only
Yeah.
made the first one. And
I was just like, it's fine, I'll record it for you.
So now we need the Netflix series. We need to record our own audiobook versions of these books. This is good.
How do we
content.
start an audiobook recording business?
well, when you do record it, make sure Lori and I get copies because we want to listen to it.
We'll give you the free
It's gotta
copies.
be s-
I told you I'd do it for you, Lori. Melissa's the one that said no.
Well, there you go. Now we have a volunteer. She can read it.
I know, I'm sure that they can do a great impression of Dean, and she really tries.
I'll put my hair over the side.
So you, who said that they read more Jennifer Barnes books?
Matt.
I did.
Read some of her other stuff.
Okay, you and Caitlin. So were any of her other books comparable to this series, or what series did you like the best that she's written?
I think my next choice would be the Inheritance Games. I really
Mhm.
like that one. Like, it was
That makes me happy because we were hesitant on reading that because we weren't sure. It reminds me a lot. I don't know if anybody has like read like the summary of Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. But that's kind of like the vibe I got when I read the description of the Inheritance Games. But I've read the first page of like the first chapter of Truly Devious, and I don't know if it was just like because sometimes like I'm a skimmer and until it like picks up, I won't pay close attention. So Truly Devious didn't really pick up for me in the first chapter, which we're reading that in a few weeks.
I attempted to read the Truly Devious, and I just couldn't get into it. It does have like a similar vibe as in maybe like it's kind of like a school castle, big kind of building with a lot of different characters, possibilities. What I would say about the Inheritance Games is they are more of kind of like there are some younger teenagers in the book, and then there's like some older teenagers in the book. And so you can like you have like the more like the older ones are kind of more serious, and then the younger ones are kind of like more of like the goofy.
There's a little bit of diversity of age in the book.
Yeah. So I mean that kind of helped to break it up. But I cannot wait for number 2. I read that book so fast. Like I read it within 3 days.
Number 2 is what, Hawthorne
the Hawthorne Legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy? And then, is that out now?
I think it comes out in September.
Okay.
Yeah, September.
I have it on my wish list on Overdrive, so.
Yeah, I read the description of that. I don't know if I spoiled anything for myself, but I saw it and I had no idea that it was the second book of the that series, and I read it and it looks really good. It seems like it's going to be really good, but I need to read more of her series because I love the Natural series, so I have high expectations that she writes great books.
So I have a question. So going back to the Natural series, did it end the way that you thought, or if you haven't read it, obviously you haven't finished it yet, what do you anticipate the ending would have been or should be, or did it meet your expectations? Did you guess it before it happened? Like, how did it, was it a pickup, a letdown? Because it like flew it out of left field and hit me in the face. That's how I felt.
Every book for you is like, what?
Yeah, because I can never guess anything. I'm just like so surprised, and you're just like, oh yeah, whatever. Second chapter, I figured that out. I'm like, how did you know? No, nothing.
I haven't finished, but I'm guessing she gets reconnected with her mother.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm more interested in the novella, which, when she's 23. So I'm just.
So was
Beth
it
Ann
like,
and Samantha talked me out of reading that because they didn't like it.
Oh, really?
It was too short. Like, I know it's a novella, but
yeah,
To the definition.
I was just upset that there wasn't 12 more books in the series.
I feel like it easily could have been.
It could have been like
progressive
like
series.
the Vanishing Girls we're reading right now. It's like a 12-book series.
Yeah, and you like continue through their lives, or like even like How to Train Your Dragon. Like the first book, when you read it, starts off as him really young, but you read on and they progressively, he gets older and like the storyline changes. And I feel like it would have benefited from at least a few more books to see like where their lives go, what happens, because there's so much more that could have come from the ending of the book, especially considering everything that surrounds what happens and their lives. And Aaliyah.
And she introduces a whole new interesting character, Michael's
Yeah.
friend. I can't think of her name right now, but they introduced
Yeah.
her and then sort of, didn't do anything with her. And then she has that
Yeah.
pop-up
Cece?
moment at the end. But
Was it Cece? Michael has
Yeah.
a friend named Cece in the
Yes.
fourth book that gets
Yeah.
supposedly kidnapped. And they
yeah, her.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they could have.
She's really cool. I love like her talent in the book, but also even if like we look at it from their perspective as adults and they take over and they take on these whole new group of students even. And
Yeah.
like tied all of that in, mixed that
Yeah.
all together.
But
But you
it's
can still
like-
see their life and then the new students' lives.
But it's also like she has this new sister now too, and they could have gotten more into that.
Spoilers.
You didn't hear that, Lori.
I've gotten to the sister part, the Laurel.
Okay.
I have gotten to that.
And I started skimming. So
And I
we're all
don't care if you
good.
skip. I don't care if you ruin it.
We're
You're not
so
going to
bad
ruin it. I'll
about
still finish
spoilers.
it. Yeah, no,
What
that
happens in
doesn't
book
bother me.
3 at the end of book 3?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I can't
Mhm.
Yeah.
call like one big book.
I feel like, I thought I compartmentalized it just into book 4, but you learned so much about her and that because she's obviously going to be different because
Yeah.
of everything that she's been as a character.
If you really liked like the sister type of storyline that they gave her, you would really like The Fixer and The Long Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, because they have very similar vibes.
I read the other one I read by Jennifer Lynn Barnes was Nobody. And I did read The Fixer too, but I don't remember that one as much. I don't know if that's age or it just didn't make an impression. But Nobody was the one where he's basically his name's Nix and he's an invisible basically assassin of sorts. So if I'm remembering correctly. So I mean, she seems to like the crime fiction. That's what she seems to write. But I do have a question for Samantha. You mentioned that you like serial killer books.
Yeah.
Have you ever read one where the main character was the serial killer?
No, but that would be amazing.
Dear Killer is the one
Yes,
I
you
recommend.
told me about that, and I have that written down. And I need to. I'm reading right now. I don't know. It was popular like maybe like a year or 6 months ago. I don't even remember when it came out, but it's called Crave by Tracy Wolf. It's like a paranormal kind of romance series. It's really, really good. They're really big books, kind of like Twilight. It's not like set up like Twilight or anything like that, but it's pretty beefy books. And it is really good. And the fourth book comes out in September, and I would 10 out of 10, 12,000 out of 10 suggest reading this. And if you like the Natural series, also a book series that reminded me of the Natural series. I read this in like middle school, so I'm not sure if it's like juvenile or if it's like more junior high, but it was like the Mediator series by
Meg Cabot.
yeah, that's a really, really good
feel like I have read that.
No, I don't. It's about this girl.
That sounds so familiar. I'm gonna go look
She
it up
moves into
after
this house and she talks to this ghost that lives in this
Nope.
house.
I haven't read that one.
It is so good. I
I
love
know.
it.
I cried. All right. Is anybody else like an emotional reader? Like when they finish a series, they like don't know what to do with their lives and like you're in despair with your heart is just like.
I don't wait if the book has an abrupt ending, or even that like a movie when it just abruptly ends, and you're like, you know, what happened? I mean, where are these people now? What are they doing? I like things to be resolved. I want it all resolved at the end.
Yeah,
because it's too disheartening if they're not.
I
I'm just
need
that,
closure.
yeah, I'm just that way with like any series that I really, really loved. And I'm like, now it's over and I can't like be with these characters anymore. And
It's
what is my life? I feel like I'm that way a lot with like anime or like manga. And I'm just like, I'm gonna cry.
I don't know. I feel like there's so much else to read that I don't hang on. I mean, I would like more, but there's just like something else that always comes along that I'm gonna love just as much. Or
well, in a series, you're not just invested in that one book. It's like you've gone months with this family, or years even, or you know, this long drawn out period of time with these people, and then they're gone from your life.
Yeah.
And it is, and I've had to remind myself these people aren't real. I mean,
I had a
I think it's refreshing that it's over.
yeah, I had a movie. I have a TV series that I watch religiously. It's called Heartland. Nobody else watches it except for me, like in the entire United States. And
That's the one that took place in
I've watched
Indianapolis.
it.
what?
That wasn't the one that took place in Indianapolis, was it?
That's in the middle,
No,
right?
this is like a Canadian TV series. It's like a
Oh,
family series. But like I was so attached with like one of the main characters. Like he was there from start to end, and he like the actor wanted to like go on and do like a traveling podcast, and so it just so happened like that something happened to them, and he had gotten shot, and then he like everything was fine. He had complications, and so they started off the new series with him just dying. And I'm not even kidding you. I probably cried for like 3 days.
She kept texting me about
I
it
was
whenever I'm like,
bawling.
Sam,
I
did
could
you
not.
watch Dexter? Did you watch the series
I
Dexter?
started Dexter. Yeah.
Well, there's this, when someone in it dies, and I won't say who because you're just now watching it, but when someone close to Dexter passes, I was devastated. I mean, I couldn't
I'm on the
sleep.
first season.
And my Nick was like, "You've got to stop these." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what's he gonna do? And how's this gonna?" I mean, it was like, ah!
Yeah, I was like hysterically crying too. It wasn't like a tear. It
I
was
didn't
like
hysterically cry, but I was awake, worried about it because we'd stayed up late to finish that season. It was like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? And I was worried. Nick's like, he's not real. You don't need to worry about him. And I'm like,
losing
Yeah.
sleep over books, not because you're reading, but because you're worried about the characters after.
it's a sickness.
Yeah, it
I
is.
feel like
I think it's bittersweet when I finish the series. You know, you're glad to finally know how everything resolves,
Mhm.
but you're kind of sad that there's not going to be any more.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that. I'm just like, it's over. Let's move on to the next thing. Like,
No.
woohoo.
I'm kind of that way. Like I get sad and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna find a new series. And then I find the new series. I'm like, wow, I'm attached.
What's really bad is when it puts me into like a reading slump where I don't want to read anything because
Right.
it's over and I want more of it and I don't want anything else and nothing else is gonna.
You know, what to do next.
The
I
next
have
one
that.
doesn't measure up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that after reading The Naturals because I had read Shadowlands before that. And there's like maybe 3 YA series that have to do with like finding serial killers and stuff. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you're telling me that I'm gonna have to read an adult book. And so
It's not a bad thing.
I found 9 Elms, which is what I told Lori. And have you started it?
I'm
Dan?
halfway through it.
I
Like I
read-
said, it takes me a long time.
I read 9 Elms and then I read another series and now I'm
Very
like hooked
good.
on those like adult crime, like
I think the only difference is that with adult, it's just a lot more gory, a
yeah.
lot more detailed, a lot
Yeah.
more. That's why I like The Natural so much because it was just a good little mix of
It doesn't have to be
both.
that way. It can be,
No.
I mean, it depends on the author. I mean, there are some of them that I'm not into the gory stuff, but I do
Oh, I am.
appreciate the I do appreciate the
That's my favorite part.
adult characters and, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josie Quinn is a good mix. I think that's, for me, that was the closest thing I found, I think, an upgrade, because there's a lot more adult themes in it.
If you like really good like twists, like crime twists, like what the heck just happened, Josie Quinn series, Vanishing Girls, is by far phenomenal.
I think it's the closest one we found, because you also, like you said, get invested with the characters. But it's longer too. There's like 13 books now, 12 or 13 books now.
I can't commit.
Step up. I didn't think that either.
I'm scared that I'm gonna get to like, because the book, I just finished the 4th book. Beth Ann's on like the 3rd book, I think.
I'm just starting the 4th book.
Yeah. And I finished the 4th book and it was good, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get like
Disappointed?
Yeah, disappointed, or just like, okay, like
I guess that's another reason why I don't know if the naturals could go on, because what if I did get really disappointed in
I
it?
think I said the other
And you
day-
eventually do. When anything goes too long, it's like, okay, this should have ended a season ago or a book ago. Or
I have trouble with series. So I think I said the other day to Caitlin that I'm a serial series non-finisher. So, I mean, if I finish a series, there was something
Been really good.
caught me.
I'm that way with like the new adult romance series. Like they're always like the free series on like Kindle Unlimited. And they're always like the spicy new adult books, and like Abby Glines, is that her name? Abby Glines.
Yeah.
And I read like the Rosemary Beach series, and it was like amazing. I loved it. And then I got to like the 4th book, and this is like a new adult thing that happens. They just switch characters and they start talking about like, they start a story with like the side characters. And I hate that. I want to read about the characters that I've been reading about from day one. And I feel like every new adult series I've read does that to me. And it like kills my soul.
Really.
Like, I don't want to commit to these side people.
But you read manga?
Yes.
Because those series, I mean, it's not uncommon for them to be 30 volumes or more.
Right. And it's
Which
even...
is, I have a hard time getting into them because of that. Because I'll like, after about book 5, I'm done.
And it's worse when you watch it.
So bad.
Because like, I'm a huge Naruto fan. And when you watch Naruto, it's like 30 episodes of like the same fight scene. Like they're doing the same stuff. And it's like, you gotta like,
It's like Dragon Ball.
it's like they need to give you like,
It takes them
label them
episodes
filler
to get up to, like,
episodes.
Super Saiyan.
yeah, so you can like skip, because I don't want to see 30 episodes of like Naruto throwing
Slow
a
motion,
fireball into
Kicking
somebody.
in the face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does get rough. And that's why I kind of like, I tend to fall asleep during anime series. And then I wake up and I'm like, we're on a
You
new,
didn't miss
yeah, we're not on a new episode yet. We're still watching this fight.
I felt that way about the Lord of the Rings, watching it. I'd fall asleep, and an hour later, I felt like we were still in the same scene. I felt like those lasted
like
forever.
blasphemy. Thank you.
Oh, I love
The
that.
Hobbit they drew out.
I was like, I can't.
I'm not like a Star Wars Hobbit.
I like Star
Hey,
Wars.
we even got the extended versions.
No.
Yes, and that for the Hobbit, it was not necessary to make it.
No, the Hobbit wasn't. I didn't care as much for the Hobbit, but I did like.
I know so much like backstory and like have done research about the Hobbit because I love the Hobbit, and they added so much extra to tie it in, and that's a whole nother.
A whole nother podcast.
Whole other podcast.
But question for the natural series: what was the most shocking part of like the entire series, like that you did not see coming?
The sister.
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Because the whole series from beginning to end, and it's one of the reasons I liked it, and it's one of the reasons why I sort of agree with Lori that it was weird that, you know, everybody tied into everybody else, but I got the feeling that the whole series was about family. that she was building this family. She was building this family
Right.
that she was choosing rather than the family that she was born into, which was, obviously effed up. So, and so was everybody else. And so that's why I liked about it. And that's why I thought the sister was the most unusual thing, because for a book about family, she didn't quite fit in.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was random, but I also thought it was like a good, like, what the heck just happened? Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine's dumb. I'm not gonna say it. Who's next?
No. You have to say it.
No. So when I learned about the Fibonacci sequence,
Oh, that blew my mind. I was like trying to figure it out.
I was like writing on
I was like,
how does
what?
this work?
I was like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out
And I was
before
like,
they
no.
do.
I still don't even know if I totally grasped like what that was, but it was so cool that I had to like sit down,
That
figure some
was-
I'm bad at math though, and all that other whatever that is. And
it's cool because I had no idea what that was, like when I read about it.
I've heard about it, but I never like have been that in your
Yeah.
face about it. And it made me appreciate her more as a character, I think.
Yeah. But like since I've read about it, like I've in different books that I've read, like crime books, it's everywhere. And I'm just like, I already know what this is because I read the Natural series.
I'm prepared.
There've been, I've come across that more times. That I was waiting almost for Sloane's to be a Fibonacci sequence, because I keep coming across it in all kinds of literature. So it was just like,
I think it came
my first
across
and
the
only
Joseph
time.
Quinn series.
Did it?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
must not be there yet.
No, I think it was in the second book. It was very briefly. I'm pretty sure.
If you're a Criminal Minds watcher, it's in Criminal Minds as well.
That's what it was in. That's what it was in.
I was like,
I just
don't
rewatched
know.
Criminal Minds. It's not in that book series. Sorry.
Okay, good.
It's
I
in
was like,
Criminal Minds.
Need to
But
go
yes,
back.
I do remember that. And I was like,
Yeah, I haven't seen that episode.
The
That's the
Naturals.
first and only time I'd ever heard of it. So it was so like awe-inspiring to me that it was a thing. Like, I don't know. It was just really intriguing to me.
yeah,
I liked it a lot. And she was a heartbreaking character for me. I
Oh.
really liked her. Sloane.
Sloane.
Yeah, she
It really
was
just
sad.
breaks my heart.
Yeah. I think I cried like a bunch.
I didn't cry. I just feel so bad for her all the time.
I cry about everything in books. Like if something like really like romantic happens, I'm just like, or like sad, I'm like, and I cry again.
Are you a crier for real life situations?
Yeah.
So like with something's romantically
right
happening and you
now.
was crying.
I saw the other day, I'm not even kidding you. I saw an old man. I was at I think I was at Chili's or something, and I saw an old man eating by himself, and he clearly like his wife had passed or something because he had a plate, and I was just like, I was crying. I told Mel, I was like, we have to leave because I can't hold it together, and I just want to go eat with this man.
You should have.
It was
she was in
sad.
the restroom.
No.
She wrote the whole story.
Tragedy must go on.
Oh man, anything like that, I will cry. Like, especially when people like,
Oh, Lord. She's
or
a
if
great
I see
crier.
people like disrespect like older people, I cry. I don't know. I just
Like I
cry.
said, I
Old
could cry
people make me
right now
cry.
for no reason, and you would cry immediately.
I'm a
Spring
group
tears.
crier, 100%. I cry. Somebody starts
Yeah,
crying.
definitely.
I think it's interesting that she wrote the whole story though, right there for this gentleman.
That's what I'm saying. Tragedy must go on.
No, but he just looked so sad, and I just knew that was
You should write a book.
what was happening. No, I think we were doing Lisa's podcast, and Beth
I
Ann
started
started crying, and I was like, oh no,
Here it comes.
It's like- here come the tears. Yeah, I'm definitely a group crier. And I'm so sensitive to like anything small in a book that's like some sort of sad. I'm just like, here come the tears.
I just get awkward. Just like, oh, okay, you need a hug.
I think I get awkward when people like tell me like, oh, like when sometimes like people will come up and be like, yeah, like my dog passed
Oh,
away,
that's
or my wife passed away, and I'm just like, what do I say?
I don't know what the
sorry,
appropriate
I don't
social
know.
response to that is.
Yeah, I get awkward like when people like tell me about their stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do you say? Like, obviously you say, I'm sorry, but
Everything's so inadequate though.
it's like, how can you make this person feel better? It's like, you can't.
Everybody's said it already, and everything you say seems inadequate at that point. But yeah,
Agreed.
I get that.
So
Yeah.
who else was there shocking moments?
I
Anybody?
thought the sister was shocking because we thought mom was dead the entire series.
Yeah.
That
And-
was why I found it more shocking.
I don't even remember, like, was she like, was she always just bad, or did the cult do it to her? I don't even remember. We read so long ago. Like, did
I
she
think
end
she
up
was
like
completely and
she
totally
was just
brainwashed?
brainwashed? Yeah.
I think it was like the Stockholm syndrome thing again. Like
Yeah.
it just became who she was, and I think it just totally split her personality.
Yeah. It was so tragic when like she was getting ready to like kill Cassie, and like they had like that moment of like she got into her head.
That was
But
that was very
the-
cool. That was a good play there. I was a little disturbed about how it kind of wrapped up. It was a little bit like, oh, I won't say anything because I know I don't want to spoil it.
I keep forgetting we can't tell people.
You're all right. You're all right.
Yeah, but
Just
I feel like we need to do like a book display of like books similar to the Natural series. Natural series book display at the main branch by BS.
I wholeheartedly support that, and maybe you should do a bibliography too.
Okay, I can do that.
And fancy now.
I can do that.
Library wear.
Yes, library where. What else do
I don't know what to use.
I don't know either. I should
You know more
I
about
think
that.
I think I was kind of shocked about Cece and her family and that whole situation.
Oh, that was actually pretty cool.
I don't even, what happened with that? I don't even remember.
Michael, where Leah was like all hot and bothered because he likes somebody else,
Oh,
and she doesn't even like him half the time, and she's just like, oh my gosh. it was
oh, they
the
made me
worst.
mad. Their relationship made me mad. I'm just like, either
It's
be together or
stupid.
don't be together. I
That's
don't know.
what that's their thing though. It'll be
Yeah.
their thing forever because that's.
But you want
annoying.
Cassie to be with Michael.
Yeah, because it was right.
Look at Doug cringing at you.
Yeah, it
I
was,
do.
he loved her.
Okay, quick
Did
question.
not?
He wanted to control her because that's what he grew up knowing.
Let's hear the team just to clear things.
I'm the only one Team Michael, clearly.
Team Dean, raise your hand.
Team
Everybody.
Now, here's my problem with I don't want any teams. I don't want any of them together. I mean, to me, they're like family. You don't date your brother,
Fair enough.
or at least you're not supposed to.
Okay, so she's team NA.
You know what I'm saying? What are the odds that you fall? There's 3 other people in your life, and it was just too easy. I'm gonna date him, and you're gonna date him, and then there's Sloane by herself.
Yeah, but he was so dark and mysterious. And
Who?
Dean.
Was there anybody else who thought she belonged with Michael?
No.
I didn't want her with either one of them.
Hey, I found somebody.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got
Maddie.
we got 2 wrong
Thanks.
opinions here.
That's right.
Well, I think the reason why I think that Michael belonged with her was because like they just seemed to like get each other on a different level because like they
Dean and
they
Cassie.
felt the
It's all
same way.
about
And he did take a bullet for her, or 2 bullets, trying to
Right.
rescue her.
family is full of serial killers. That's the only thing that we have in common. So obviously
How
we have
cool.
to like be together because that's our thing, and that's the only like butter that glues the toast together.
Okay, I have to ask, given their family backgrounds and their family traumas and whatnot, do any of you, as you were reading of this, were any of you thinking,
Do any
man,
of you
these are
have
going to be some really messed up adults, or are they going to follow those same paths and end up like their relatives?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a book where Dean's the serial killer. I mean, that could be book
I
7.
agree with Lori.
I kept wondering, is there a way
Wouldn't
for them
be
to have
a
a
Dexter.
normal life?
No, he was so annoying. He was just like, he was sitting in a locked room, rocking back and forth, like, I'm gonna be my father. And it's like, this monster breaks out of his chest and runs through, murdering everybody. And I'm like, just chill out, man. Like, it's just a choice. You don't have to act like this beast is gonna come from your soul and consume the world. Like, I can't be with you, Cassie, because I'm gonna kill you in your sleep. Like, get real, man.
I agree.
Wondering the whole time that are they going to end up messed up like their relatives? Is there a happy ending for them?
But him dwelling on it like that hard will make him crazy. Like, you think about it too much. Like, just forget a little. Just a little.
Well, hard
But
to
it would,
forget
but
that.
it would be hard to forget your father was a serial killer.
I know,
mean,
but
that,
him, like, locking himself off.
Especially because
The
in
life
the-
experience.
And, like, just constantly allowing, like,
It'd be hard to forget that you were being groomed to be one too.
He
Exactly.
participated.
he still had that choice, and he was so forcefully locking himself off emotionally that it just was causing him more problems.
But you gotta think, what if your family member or anybody in your family was a serial killer? And
like a picture.
like, if I found out my dad was a serial killer, I would just like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you'd be in shock.
I'd be in shock for like the rest of my life.
but he just didn't find out. He knew it all along. He witnessed it.
Yeah.
His whole childhood,
And I understand that.
always
but
being
he's
part
still,
of it.
like, forcing himself to, like, he was punishing. He might as well just kept punching himself in the face.
Oh, that's just like the Hulk. What's his name?
Bruce
David
Banner?
Bruce Banner. Yeah, he couldn't be with anybody.
Bruce Wayne?
No, like the Hulk. He couldn't be with anybody because he turned into the Hulk.
It was Bruce, right?
Now, why
I'm
don't we
Yeah.
looking to
Bruce.
Doug.
Yes, it was Bruce, and he did have a lover. Anyway, my problem with Dean was I thought that she used that whole "I'm a tortured soul," she used that to make him keep him two-dimensional. I thought all of the other characters had a lot more depth to them
Yeah.
than him. Even
I
Michael.
agree.
I didn't necessarily like Michael, but I didn't hate Michael either. He was, in a lot of ways, he was more interesting than Dean, because Dean only had that one thing.
Mhm.
So who was everybody's favorite character?
Sloane. I loved Sloane.
See, I really liked Sloane too. And
I
she
did
did
too.
like, she was so
Why
like
did you like
dull.
Sloane?
Because
I
she
think
was
she was-
quirky and had no
Yeah.
filter and just would say things, and she was
Yeah.
smart, and she
And she was really vulnerable.
Mhm.
That's
Like
why
her
I
story
don't
was so
like her.
tragic.
That's why I don't like her, because she makes me so sad. Like,
She was a little too
makes
whiny
me so sad.
sometimes, but I
But
don't
I
know.
didn't think she was sad till after the whole storyline with her brother.
Brother,
That's after
yeah.
that she got sad, but before that she was just very random,
She was
very
like Sloane.
spontaneous, very hyper, and always doing something, and I like that part of it. Whereas I thought Cassie just was. I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Someone's gonna die because it's all about you, Cassie.
She's the only one that got gifts.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
When she
She's the
got
only
her
one that got the gifts, the birthday gifts that you
Oh
were
yeah.
so worried about on the cover.
Yeah. Listen, I really thought it was gonna be like some
You
like,
making all these stories. I'm
R.L.
telling you.
Stein tragic birthday party. I don't know. Like it was gonna be some cheesy like we're all at a birthday party and the lights go out. Everybody like gets
Everybody
murdered.
dies.
But there's 4 of us trapped in here. We don't know who the killer is. One of those.
Isn't that
kind of
basically the
things.
guest list that you want to read so bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm excited.
Here's the thing. I read on somebody's blog, somebody was commenting on the covers that these really aren't the best covers.
No, they need to
They're
step
not.
I mean, whether people recognize it or not, and especially considering this is geared towards a teen audience, teens very much do judge their books by their cover.
Oh, not just
I do.
teens.
I mean, I
I
can take a look at a book, and no matter how many times I put it out on display, promoted it or whatnot, if it had a crummy cover, it was a no sale.
Okay,
Like
how do you do this? If a book comes out and then it comes out as a movie and then they re-release the paperback with the movie, I will not read that book with the movie
Nope.
title cover. I have to
Nope.
read
No,
To me, that ruins it.
Movie title covers.
You know what else
Yeah,
I hate?
I do too.
That doesn't bother me. Sometimes movie covers better than the.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, some of them I've seen, they've been juvenile. I mean, this is a teen book and you want to appeal to teens. Having artwork that's younger than that age group
Yeah.
isn't going to sell it. And
Oh,
if they're going to release it as a movie and it's going to have a movie tie-in and it's going to have a new movie cover, I'll buy that in a heartbeat because that will make the book move.
I don't like movie covers. And I also don't like the cheesy like romance covers where like the girl's like laying against the guy's chest.
So ironic that you.
And they pretty much stopped doing that, I think. I haven't seen one like that for a while.
I think
Unless you've been in the Harlequins, so.
for the covers is the
I might be in there. I don't know.
Look at the new stuff. It's better.
Yeah, the new books have a lot of the cartoon covers, which I really like. I like that style.
I have the I have the box set of the Mortal Instruments, and it's like the
I didn't
like
like
the
that.
black,
It's
white,
nice.
and gray, like cartoony looking animated covers, and they're really cool, and I really like those. But like the new ones with like the characters' faces like on the covers, I don't like that. I don't want to see anybody's face on the cover.
Is it because they kind of ruin your
Your visual.
picture?
Yes, 100%.
Have you, one of my biggest pet peeves about books is when you have a cover and it's supposedly the main character on the cover.
And they're described totally different in the book.
Yes, she's blonde and on the cover, and apparently in the book she has dark hair. It's like, did the artist read the book or at least the description when they were making this?
Not that
Yeah.
much attention.
Oh no.
That drives me up the wall. That is a
Notice.
big pet peeve.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Agreed.
These covers were okay. They're not sellers. I mean, they're not eye-catching, and I wouldn't call them terrible, but they're not saying, here, read me.
They still give you a little bit of.
They're
a
very
hint
bright.
of
So
what happens in them? I mean,
I've-
they're relatable to the book.
yeah, I've definitely like seen them, like noticed them, like, oh dang, that's really ugly cover. Which is why I didn't pick up the book until it got suggested to me on Novelist. But
They
yeah,
felt a little old school to me, like something you'd see on an old Jeremy Dickey
Yeah.
cover or something series.
yeah, agreed. It reminds me of like the I don't know if anybody's seen like the Natasha Preston books, but it kind of reminds me of that, where it's just like one like little thing mentioned in the book is like the cover of it, whether it be like a knife or poison, and that's what they put on the cover, and I'm just like, why though? Yeah. So make better covers.
I enjoy Natasha Preston.
I really love Natasha Preston's books. I think I've read all of them. Also, another really good like horror YA book for anybody who likes horror YA.
I think the seller was my favorite.
I like horror.
I want the artist who did the cover of Lisa's Starfish.
Yeah.
do
She
every
did a
cover
really
for
good
that
job.
one. I love that cover.
I love that. Yeah.
Her stuff is so good. Yes.
It was so cute.
Yes, it was very good. I liked it a lot.
Yes. But yeah, the Natural series. Mind-blowing series.
Obviously, everybody agrees with us.
I don't think anybody's more obsessed than we are.
We are with it. Yeah, we're just so mind blown about it. I don't know why.
People
I
probably
guess
listen to our podcast. They're like, they're gonna mention it again.
It's a drink.
Like-
It's a drinking game. Every time you say the Naturals, they have to drink.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes. But thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
Any other comments, questions, concerns?
Well, I'm anxious to finish it, and then I'll let you know what I
Yes.
thought.
We have
I want to
time.
read the last book just because they're older.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna read them again. I'm going to buy the box set for sure, because I always have to buy the box set of the series that I love. So yeah.
And one day you'll run out of space and wonder, why did I buy all these box sets?
I know, but then you
When
just
you're
have
our
to
age.
either A, get more bookshelves, or just sell your house and buy a bigger
Buy a new
house
one,
with
okay.
more space for your bookshelves.
You have to pack all of them and
Yeah,
unpack them.
and move them. And when you're 50, you don't want to.
So if somebody liked this series,
Mhm.
what would be the one book or book series that you would recommend that they check out right now?
Read after this.
Yeah.
I would 100% just go with Vanishing Girls.
Vanishing Girls. If they really like YA, I have Shadowlands by Kate Bryan. That's a little more less crime focused, like realistic crime focus. It's kind of goes into paranormal.
Oh, I don't like paranormal.
But
Okay.
I loved that series.
Yeah.
You would probably really like that series.
I would have to go with the series I mentioned earlier. Then it's a graphic novel or a comic book series, but Deadly Class. It's very similar to this concept, except they're a school of assassins.
Write these
Oh.
down.
They are being
that
trained
sounds
to
good.
assassinate people. So
We're gonna
story.
Yeah, we're gonna re-listen to these and probably write all these down and link these books.
Where we can. but you
I've
can
been
do-
writing while we've been talking, so I'll send you my
I've
list.
noticed.
Melissa, you need to add some of the stuff to your reader's advisory thing or your staff reading log so that, like read a new series and that could be like 2 or 3 different options. Because when I'm trying to read these, then I think, where can I make this fit on this reading list instead of taking the reading list and finding something to read.
Well, I was thinking about doing a book board for you guys, so.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do it.
Caitlin, did you have a recommendation of one that you thought was like?
So it's not, I don't read a lot of crime books, but I think Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, that would be a good one.
I have not read those yet.
See,
But that's on
I
my
was
list.
going to read it and I've seen so many mixed reviews that I
Mhm.
just hesitated and did not.
So I would definitely read the first 2 and then decide, because like the 3rd and 4th ones, they get kind of iffy, but definitely read the first 2. Those are the best.
Is it heavy romance at all?
Not really.
Like, what do you mean by not really?
I mean, I think it would probably be the same as what The Naturals has in it. So
Okay,
it's not too.
that's not too bad. I really liked what she did with Witchwood, and furthermore, those are my
And
favorite that she's.
Maddie, do you have any that you would say?
I have 2. Stephanie Perkins, There's Someone in Your House.
Yes. They are making that into a Netflix movie. If you didn't know, it's supposed to be coming out, I think, this month.
Oh, that's too bad. I really like book talking that book.
And my second one would be anything by Riley Seeger. I really liked the one I read by her, and I can't wait to read more.
Like it. She didn't like. Which one did we read that you did not like?
Is it Lock Every Door?
Lock Every Door. See, I liked it. I gave it like a 7 out of 10, but she hated it.
Can I say I think Riley's a guy?
That's what I was just gonna say, Melissa.
Oh, every time I do
Is
that.
it?
Every time
Yes.
I go with the guy. Every time. It's my fault because I say that. And I think
We've never known. We're just.
I read Home Before Dark this past summer. Oh, I loved that. That is my catnip right there.
We had high
Love
hopes for
those.
that one. I think we had that on our list, and
we
that's
did
the
all
one we
get
thought.
right.
Yeah, that's the one we thought sounded the best though out of all of them. See, we read Lock Every Door, and then like right after that, I had watched a Netflix movie that was literally like exactly like that book. So if you liked that book, go watch One Bedroom on Netflix.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Scary.
Yeah. But yeah, we need to try. You don't have to, but I'm
Lori, do you have one?
No, I don't. I'm trying to
Writing
think of
down
a series. Well, most of my read aren't YA, so I'm trying. I don't read a
Well,
lot.
it doesn't have to be
Well,
YA.
I know. I'm just trying
Riley
to think of-
Cyber was adult, so
Yeah.
Melissa, I think you would like The Vanishing Girls because it is more adult.
Yeah.
It gives you the
I do
same
think
kinds
that
of
you would.
things without the, I don't know, juvenile aspect, I guess. So you should try it. It is really good. I promise. That one is really, really, really good.
I need to look at my Goodreads and see what I've read that
I
where
think
I'm at.
one that I would recommend if you're into the YA serial killer stuff, well, I just thought of another one, but would be Dear Killer by Catherine Yule. And it's because the main character is the female serial killer.
Oof.
And
is
you're in
she
her head the entire game.
Is she like a Dexter kind of serial killer, or is she more like I'm killing everybody?
That intrigues me that it's,
She's a killer for hire.
Okay.
so she's an assassin?
Yeah, but she loves her job. So
All right.
It's good when you like what you do.
Yeah, it is.
I'm almost done with my book, so I am
Dear
gonna need to read
Killers.
that.
but Peter Abrahams has some good ones too that are in the teen stuff, but it's definitely older teen. And I'm blanking on the name. I want to say Bullet is in the title, but he has some really good stuff too that he's written for his, he has adult books, but he's written for teens as well. And I love his teen stuff.
I say 2 series I read last year. I'm looking was Jonathan and Jesse Kellerman, father and son. The main character in the book is a coroner. So he gets the body and then he does more investigating than most. They were fine. They were easy reads. Nothing like, oh my God, I can't wait to get to the next one. They were just fine. And then I also read a Marcia Clark series. Rachel Knight's the main character. And so I like reading about female, like judges, prosecutors, lawyers, that kind of stuff. And she had a strong female character and it was fine. But again, it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't put this down. But it was, that good mindless reading type stuff or listening to.
Yeah, also 9 Elms by Robert Brinza. I said that in the beginning of the podcast, but
That's very similar.
to bring it back.
The Peter Abrahams books were Reality Check, and the other one was Bullet Point. Both of those were really good. So if you like the crime fiction.
We need like a
Last year I read more non-series to fill in my
Yeah.
reading log. So I didn't read a lot of series last year, but those were 2
The
I
staff
would read.
challenge.
Staff challenge. Thank you. But those were 2 series I did read just when I walk. I listen to a book while I walk, and it's okay if you get sidetracked or
right.
look at a pretty boy that walks by or something.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, it was
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yay.
making me read the naturals.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
We were
first
so
first
excited.
podcast.
And I will finish
followed
it
your
and let you
advice.
know.
Awesome.
Yes, we are so excited to record this. We're like, oh, why didn't we record it sooner? We need to. Like, we keep talking to everybody about it, and
We should definitely do it again. If there's anything you guys
Yes.
have that you want to suggest that we should read, you guys want to talk about?
yeah,
We
I feel like
definitely do this again.
Melissa and Caitlin kind of read like around what we read, and even Maddie too. Send us like lists of books because seriously,
We're always looking for new things.
I'm a power reader. Beth Ann is not, so I will like
I'm a
go
power
through it in, like 5 days.
If you're going to do the Riley Sager, we definitely have to do Home Before Dark. I'm sorry. I love that book.
Okay, fine. I'll read it for you.
Maybe it will redeem.
It better.
Yeah.
I like
So disappointed.
the one I liked was Final Girls by her.
That was good, but I also read at the same time the one by Seth Jones Graham, or I'm mixing up the name there, but it was also called Final Girls, and it's similar theme.
Yeah. I watched the movie, and I'm pretty sure it's based off of one of those books, but I didn't really like the movie, so I didn't pick up.
What was the movie?
It's called Final Girls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like legit. Just called
Seth
Final
Graham Jones, Final Girl, I think.
I think it's Final Girls for
Yeah.
Riley Sager.
One of them's girls and the other one's girl.
Final Girls is
Riley
Riley
Sager.
Sager.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do this again.
Yes.
Well, let us know what you decide to read next so we can all decide. if we want to
We will harass you with our good book choices and we'll be like,
Our
guys,
good book
promise you will love this. Please read it so you can do a podcast with us.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll email you.
Yep.
We'll get together and collaborate.
And maybe we can do a read the book and watch the movie and then rake
Yes.
that over the coals. That would be a good
Yes.
one. There was one I'm looking on my Goodreads for the title because somebody just came out with the show and I don't remember if it was Netflix, Hulu, or what, but it was Nicole Kidman was in it and maybe Hugh Grant. The husband is accused of killing somebody. I need to figure out which one of these books it is.
Oh,
Was it?
You should have known. You should have known.
yes.
That book was really good. The show was when Nick turned it on, I'm like, this storyline is really, really familiar to me. And then so I looked it up. I'm like, oh, I read the book, but it deflects so far from the book, but the book was really, really good. That was a good one. You should have known.
Yeah.
That was a good one. See, I can't remember. I look at these and think, what was that one about? I don't know how you keep them all track. I guess because you're young, but I can't keep them all separated.
I have a book that I use and look through what I've read, or I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I write it all down.
Goodreads.
I use Goodreads. That's what I was looking to see what I read last year.
I'm a diehard Goodreads user.
Yes.
Did you read Something in the Water?
Yes, finally. I hated it.
Oh, I liked it.
That's a whole nother discussion.
I like that one. It made you think. It did. Read that one. Look at that one.
Water, who's that
Yeah.
one?
Do you know the author?
Yes. Stedman.
Catherine?
Yep, Catherine Stedman. And I picked it because
I feel like
it fell into the book club, celebrity book club. It was one of Reese Witherspoon's, one of her choices last year.
Oh, yeah.
Was it?
That's where it fit
I
in
only
mine.
read it because Trina told me to.
Yeah, Trina's the one that turned me onto it too. And then it fit that part of my book discussion or my list. But yeah,
we've definitely looked at this.
it was like they make one decision and it affects every single thing in their life. And it was just their life went to shit after they did something they shouldn't have done. So,
Bleep.
We will have to,
oh, sorry.
no.
Well, I think we've been clear.
Right.
We've been clear that you can say everything except that. So you're good.
Fired.
Lori's fired.
That's the F word.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna have to wrap it up because we could talk about this for like 5 hours,
I
but
know.
we obviously have to go back out into the public world. Yes, but thank you guys for joining us. You guys are awesome.
Doug, is that the new puppy?
Oh,
God. I'm hoping it's a girl since she's wearing pink.
She is.
We're easily distracted by puppies.
yes.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Keep up the good work, ladies.
Yes. Join us next week. I have no idea what we're
doing
recording next week. We're doing, we'll be recording Ben and the Den next
that's
week.
right. With the
Our new digital media coordinator. So we'll be talking about that next week.
With digital Ben.
Yes, we'll have some more book suggestions for you guys next month, which we send to Melissa and Caitlin, and they kind of put our stuff on display at South. Shout out to
Thank
them.
you.
They're awesome. So yes, email us at offthebooks@khcpl.org. Tell us what you think about the Natural series, and hope you guys have an awesome day.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.